It's already doing it on the hill.
Oh, I know, it's, but I'm over the hill, so I don't care.
But I know you can do it.
Perfect.
You can do less than an hour.
That is perfect.
I've got Titia at home.
There's a birthday gift.
We should be on 4.
Thank you, thank you.
Who else needs one?
Okay, so tell me when you're ready to start.
We're good.
We're good?
Oh, yeah, just taking a second to load on the YouTube thing. Okay.
Okay.
Call to order 6:13.
6:13.
Okay.
Okay, welcome to the City of Laconia Conservation Commission of January 4th, 2023. I'm Dean Anson.
Deb Williams?
Stacy, Susie?
Bob Harrington?
Michael Foot.
Ruth O'Hara?
Dietrich Feather, Planning Director.
Sheena Duncan, Conservation Technician.
Great, so we have a quorum. So we're gonna salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Okay, so we need, okay. Oh,
Thank you.
perfect. Sheena, you want to do recording secretaries? Do you do a
yes,
report?
what's that?
Do you do a report now?
A report?
Hmm.
Oh, I don't have much of a report, I guess you could
It's
say.
just acknowledging that she's
Oh,
the.
oh, okay,
That I
all right,
write the minutes. Yeah.
okay, all right. Okay, so we have staff in attendance, that's great. And we have the minutes from 12/7/22. Does anybody have any comments on those? There's a typo under new business, the third paragraph, there's a G on Moran.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Any other comments? Oh, so if you go down a couple, 3 paragraphs, there's another G on Moran.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
And then under, oh my gosh, so there's it says, Dean Anson said that he believed that the city could be getting more for the Lakes Region Planning Commission, from the Lakes Region Planning Commission for the money that we pay in dues. He suggested reaching out to, and it should be LRPC for help. Do you see where that is? It's,
Oh, yeah, I see it. Oh, it should be LRPC rather than RPC. Oh, to the RPC, the Regional Planning Commission.
right. Okay, anybody have any other comments?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes with the corrections.
Anybody want to second the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, any additional comments?
Yes. Sheena, right above number 9, with impacts to the local schools apparently of a smaller than expected.
Oh, yep, got it.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay. All in favor of accepting the minutes as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good, thank you. Okay, let's go next item on the agenda. Okay, Mike, under old business, you had a comment from one of the previous meetings?
Sure, it's just looking back on what you guys, when Mr. Trefethan presented to us last, on the 7th. And I just wanna point out there that this particular owner has been egregious in his violations. When we talk about a stone driveway, we're not talking crushed stone, we're talking 14 large dump trucks of
Riprap.
6 to 12 put in. There are 4 crossings in there. It was previously, and we know beaver dams come and go. It was previously impounded by a beaver dam, and before that there was a sand pit in there, or a gravel pit. So it's seen some use in different ways over the years. But I'll say as a downstream abutter, and you know, part of the reason I sit in here is because I care about those streams. And that actually, if you look at the watershed, is in a break between the Winnisquam watershed, which goes right off the west side of Route 106, and this pocket here collects between Livingston Road and comes down and through the valley and onto Hilliard Road, where it comes into Paugus Bay. So this is outflow that I've watched for years. I've sent in pictures, and I have sent them in on certain days when there are flows, whether they decide to cut the beaver dam or whatever else happens. I have pictures of heavy flows. I can see the water coming out of my pond is clear. The stuff that directly comes down from this property is questionable. And it's backed up by pictures that go up to the pump station on Roller Coaster Road. I would just say that they high-handedly crossed 4 drainages that flow into one. It's a little fan. And from there on out below the roller coaster and out to Hilliard Road. They have not been, they just haven't followed the rules. It's just something you wouldn't want to see. It's not a little road. It's not just for four-wheelers. It's so you can drive the large dump trucks down also. Now, reasonably, one could still argue that they could utilize this 51 acres and build on it if one were so inclined. If you look at the map just to the north side of it, there are houses that are close. Some of the neighborhood rumors, and it could be done, maybe, on the north side of the road is stuff like a rifle range or some other hunting type thing. Would that be appropriate for this community as it's been developing? I would caution not. And so just as whatever goes on in there, it would behoove us to have good oversight because of the way they've previously acted, and just, rules are for some and not for others. And I guess that's my cautionary tale right there. I love that valley. I know what the waters look like. I see them all the time. I'm in them. And all the way to Paugus. Currently, just as I get visits from the state of New Hampshire, some good and some bad, and it has to do with my pond and the condition of a 70-year-old dam. So the state is currently doing a hydrology project on water pressures and flow in that area, and that's from the New Hampshire DS dam area. So I paid my dam tax the other day, and they came down and did the dam inspection. The girls onto this too. But there it is. We watch this stuff, and so please, whatever goes on up here, I think they should be more honest and above board than as they've previously been. And thank you very much for your time.
Why are they running dump trucks back there?
Because when I say stones, I'm talking. It's not a dirt driveway.
Right.
We're talking they had to bring in riprap this big, and they put them on 10-wheeler trucks that go in and turn around. If we have the ability to go and do an inspection, I'd be more than happy to go around. They have a lot of cameras there. They have a lot of signage that say that they don't want to see you there. I took it upon myself one day to precisely walk the stone wall from the cemetery out on Route 106 all the way up to where this property line closes. And that was some time ago as they first started doing this. And when my neighbor's calling me up going, Mike, what the hell's going on? I sit on conservation, I don't know, but we'll ask.
So the water from that property flows into Pickerel Cove, is that right?
Do I have it right? Is that correct? Yeah, down all the way under the opening for Hilliard Road, that
Right.
problematic dam bridge. Is one or the other. But some of this is when they come to do the study on me, and I just saw this girl a week and a half ago. Maybe there's something there we can learn from it.
So is there a location where we could collect tributary samples?
Sure, right
Upstream.
at the pump station. What, above them?
No. I want to get the flow off their property.
On the City of
Of Envelope.
Laconia's pump station on the north side of Roller Coaster Road
Okay.
in the hollow is the most appropriate spot. There's a bridge,
Okay.
right, and it is just that.
So we sample, right now we sample at Hilliard Road and we sample at the pipe that leads into Paugus Bay from Pickerel Cove. So if we sampled, so we have two locations, so now if we go upstream, we'll get, we'll be
The
able to.
perfect sample would be right from
The
the
pump station?
You can
Okay.
park and access.
Okay, so we can add that.
And that's below their property? That's runoff from there?
It is the 4 brooks that come down and then they come into a wet area, and it's a single outlet, just 'cause it's narrow in there, and from that, it's all downhill from there.
Okay, okay. So, Dean, did we send a letter did the city send a letter with comments to DES regarding this permit application, you know, the one for the wetlands?
Yes.
We did, okay, good, okay. Okay,
It sounds like a little more than hunting going on.
But once again, I've also heard rumors of a rifle range. Whether that's just to stir up the neighborhood, I have no idea.
okay,
That, once again, would be a bad idea.
okay, so, Sheena, when we go out to do the tributary sampling, we wanna do one at the pump station on Roller Coaster Road. I wanna add that too, where we sample.
Okey-dokey.
I'd like to sample above it.
It's
To see.
diverse. You know,
Right.
so that's probably your most collective point.
But isn't the outlet by Pickerel Cove, hasn't that one had the most issues as far as not turbidity, but
Turbidity is a transitory thing.
right.
You know what I mean? Some days it is. That's why I have a stack of pictures from the same spot, you know, if there's any data that needs to be backed up. And it does correspond with heavy flows, heavy rains and stuff like that. But still, after, and I will say that the stream below supported mills back in the day, smaller sawmills and stuff like that for wood. So there's certainly been use of the stream historically. But I'll say the pictures I saw this past week were a good heavy flow. My pond or my dam wasn't flexed, but it certainly ran that brook as hard as it wanted to be run.
Okay,
How long have they been up there playing around?
You'd have to look at when they bought it, 2000.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when it was. but
It was sold by Spanos, and so it was 3 pieces.
2011?
Yep.
before that. Oh, I mean,
2014 I bought from Spanos, so it could have been right in there at some time. They were selling off. But
the road upgrade was done. Ashley was still here.
yeah,
It was one of the last things that we dealt with, so it would have been end of 19, very beginning of 2020.
you have sewer that goes all the way down under the roller coaster, end to end.
Yeah.
Right, but there's only water to Beaver Pond Estates on the east side of it.
Okay.
So anything else that would be done would be wells, or they're gonna really have to want.
are there any major tributaries? You said there are 5 of them that flow into that.
No, it's about the top when you look at your Winnisquam versus Winnipesaukee watershed maps.
Mm-hmm,
It really is right on the ridge break, right in. There's a lot of glaciated stuff there. You know, as you walk on the ridges and watch the water flows, and uniquely enough, as you're headed down the hill towards Meredith and you come up, that fan in there is where it collects and goes to Winnipesaukee, vice over the ridge, everything goes to Blackbrook, Winnisquam, stuff like that.
okay,
But when you look at, if you compare the two watershed maps, you'll see what it is.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're down to old business and the flooding issues of Jewett Brook. When we had the last big rainstorm, and I don't remember what the date was, it was in December, I went to Jewett Brook and took pictures at Union Avenue and at the Normandy building. And just happened that we had talked about what we could do in terms of helping the Jewett Brook flow better. And the number one item, high priority item under this study that was done in 2012 by Du Bois and King, and the engineers and the city, was to do dredging at Union Avenue. I talked to Dean about doing a grant application to see if we could get money to dredge. And the dredging that they're talking about at Union Avenue are on the upstream side of the bridge, and then under the bridge, because there's a lot of sediment there. And I don't know if you saw the pictures or saw the water, Bob, going down?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh. It was within 4 to 6 inches of going over the moat at Normandy. It would have gone right to the foundation. So I think, and I went down the next day, and it was, or the day after, and it was pretty much
Yeah,
normal.
I wondered about that in that storm, because, there was water over the road up around Blackbrook.
Is that, what is the base of that? Is it like a box culvert? Is there a base that's a hard base as it goes under, or is it deep? I mean, I know it runs on a canal.
Yeah,
I mean, once you're on the downside of Union Avenue, it's pretty much a canal, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Is that a
I don't
reinforced
know.
canal with?
Yeah, I don't know the construction of the bridge, I don't know.
Or, what I'm saying is that maybe a low level, how far you could dig, cause you wouldn't wanna dig under it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I think there is cement, I don't know about the bottom,
Yeah.
but on the sides, it,
Yeah, certainly the abutments are there, whether they, yeah, I don't know.
right.
Just a question to consider when you, how deep you're going to be able to dredge it.
Right, anyway, so what Dean and I talked about was doing figure out where we could apply for a grant to dredge. And what I personally would like to see is dredging upstream of the bridge all the way down to, not the river, but there are, over on Davis Place, there are residences there, and they were, when it was flowing really high back in December, it was close to getting into their yards. So we could have a more serious issue, so, anyway, so are you still interested in doing that, Dean?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And we talked about coordinating it with Wes Anderson, so he knows what's going on. We don't want to do anything behind his back. It's just, we know he's stretched in terms of personnel, so.
How much sediment is in the canal by, the building, by the apartment building?
I mean, it's visible, but it's
I mean, yeah,
hard to know,
right,
How deep is?
yeah.
right. I mean,
3 or 4 feet.
okay, I think it's that deep.
And it's it's actually being held in place by Japanese knotweed. They got a super forest of Japanese knotweed there.
Growing up through the concrete?
No, growing up in the
It
sediment.
will.
Yeah,
I don't think it's growing through the concrete. But
Not
I don't know for
today,
sure.
then later.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of grants, I did write down the Bridge Investment Program and the Safe Streets and Roads for All as two possible sources that don't get utilized a lot.
Okay, could you give those to Sheena so we can investigate, please? Thank you.
Great.
Okay, so I don't think, I haven't done anything with the tributaries of Paugus Bay. Except what Mike talked about in doing, adding an additional sampling location. I think that's a good idea. In fact, today we got the report for the tributary sampling that we did last year for both Opeechee and Paugus Bay. I think I sent it to you, Sheena?
Oh, I'm so sorry, I was just trying to.
That's okay.
Scratch it down.
Okay.
Is information about the tributary
You
sampling?
know, the triplet, yeah, where we used meters,
Yeah,
and we got the data, and there are locations where we have exceeded the the recommended standards for the state in terms of water quality, particularly pH. Our pHs are too low, so that means that they're acidic.
This is- yeah.
okay. I think you'd have to send that to me again if you did send it. I don't.
Okay.
It's not
All right,
on my docket here.
I mean, I could send it to everybody.
Yeah, that would be
great.
nice to see.
Yeah, okay, I will do that. Okay,
Connected to know the science.
okay. Okay, so in terms of Winnisquam, the Winnisquam Watershed Network, you know, has filed and received a 319 grant to do work on 3 locations in the watershed. One of them is Gale Avenue, and there is a site visit at Gale Avenue tomorrow. And that visit is with Cindy O'Connell, who is the, one of the project manager, she's the project manager for this, for the Winnisquam Watershed Network. And she's going to meet with the contractor who is going to propose a design. So she's invited us to go along. It's at 9:30 and it's at Gale Avenue. You know, they want to build a rain garden there. So that's what, the way we pictured it, anyway. So, anybody who wants to come?
That's 9:30 tomorrow?
9:30 tomorrow at Gale Avenue.
At the end of the Gale Avenue.
Right,
yeah,
at the end
yeah.
of Gale, right. Okay, Blackbrook. I have been emailing with Carol Hall, who's the chair of the Guilford Conservation Commission, and she thinks it's a good idea for us to have a joint meeting to talk about what could be done at Blackbrook, and she also identified a couple of projects that they have already done. And she thinks going to the state and see if we can get some grant money from whatever organization so that we can start doing some of the work along Blackbrook. So I think that would be,
To help alleviate that flooding by the,
yeah.
yeah. It's another dredging project probably on the other side of that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So sandy there.
Silty.
Hmm?
Silty
Everything, yeah.
by Sandy.
she have any suggestions of when she wanted to meet?
She said probably in February. And I think, you know, that'll give us an opportunity to better flesh out some things that we think would be good projects. I think it would also, you know, given that we're doing a cohort and we're trying to get that to the next level,
Did we ever share that hydraulic study with them?
yes. Yeah, they have it.
Good.
Okay. You wanna talk about what the planning board has been doing?
We didn't have a meeting yet. It's next week,
Oh, okay. Okay, I did see that.
holiday.
Oh.
Extended one.
As much as you can.
There's really nothing else on the agenda and except we can go into new business. Anybody have any new business they wanna add?
I didn't know if you just wanted to fill everybody in on how the cohort is doing.
You can.
Okay. We had a cohort Zoom meeting today. Dean, myself, and Ruth. We met with Wendy, who is our mentor through the cooperative. We're doing pretty well, I think. We want to put signs up along the WOW Trail, explaining some of the natural things occurrence. We have pollinators, rain garden, climate change. Wait, what are you gonna call that?
Well, the heading is,
It wasn't
Earth
climate
is
change.
spiking a fever and the lakes are getting sick.
Okay.
Remember, this is for
She's-
5th grade reading level.
Invasive species and watershed. So there's gonna be at least 5 signs that we wanna put along the WOW Trail. Our next, part of the plan is to get some prices on signs, flesh out a budget. We're gonna meet again in February with Wendy. She is good at keeping us on track. We're gonna probably look at some small grants. Maybe Bank of New Hampshire may apply there for a small grant. I mean, the majority of the cost will be the signs and to have them put in. We're talking about doing a rain garden and adding to a pollinator garden. But a lot of that is gonna be physical, and we may connect with DPW and Parks and Rec, maybe some landscape companies, and see if they wanna help us out with some of that. But yeah, it's.
How big would these signs be?
We're trying to make them similar to the ones that are already there.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's on a,
15, something like that?
they're on a, metal post in the ground and plexiglass on the top, so when they get sprayed with paint or something, we can clean them off.
And somehow it's inevitable that there will be vandalism.
I know, and we talked today, Wendy was suggesting that as we progress, that we make sure that we have PR, in the newspaper or whatever, so that people know what's going on. And then she's like, you can have temporary signs, and as soon as she said that, I'm like, yeah, that might end up in the lake. But it's a nice idea.
I think the signs are 12 by 15. They're not real big.
Okay.
And that's to match the signs that are already there. It was a Eagle Scout project they did. And I think we talked about maximum of 100 words, 100 words on each sign.
At the most.
And one of the things that we want to do is you want to have QR codes on the signs. So
Takes you to a website? Okay.
take it to some sort of a website where there's more information. Does the city have an IT person that could help us with those?
I'm sure they can do that.
Okay, who would we talk to? Do you know?
It would be, yeah,
Nick and Artie.
Artie, thank you, Artie O'Connell.
Yeah, because it'll be nice, we can have limited amount of information on our signs, but then if you have a QR code, the kids love to use those. And then it can take them to a web page that can be updated or changed any way we want.
Yep.
And linked to other sites also, so,
Yeah, that would be very powerful.
And then we
Kids
can,
have cell phones.
yeah, then we can update the QR codes and
Three-year-olds
update
have
the
cell
information.
phones.
No, it's not true.
Thanks.
bet me, yep. So it's coming along.
Okay, Bob, you want to tell us what's going on in your neighborhood?
Well, the big news is that we had men's breakfast this morning.
The what?
Men's breakfast.
Breakfast, and our speaker was the new city manager.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Oh, hey.
yeah. And he had quite a lot to bring us to date on a lot of things going on. A lot of talk about state school, and nobody knows anything concrete yet. So,
Don't hold your breath.
No.
yeah. But other than that, we're back into the usual winter. A lot of salt.
Mm.
So, any update on state school?
It's over there.
There is, I just gotta think for a minute here what I can
Divulge.
divulge here.
Really?
Yeah, no, I do.
Papers are-
I know, it drives me crazy that we're.
Lie to me now, Dean.
I think Sununu thinks everything is out in the open.
Yeah, he does think that, but that's,
Except for the stuff that's not.
right, exactly. They hope to sign all the papers and everything that needs to be done and actually have ownership of the property the 1st of September. And they hope to start remediation at the property, i.e. demolition of buildings that are unsafe and they're not gonna keep, and those kinds of things. They want to start that immediately at that point in time. So they will be busy over the course of late spring and through the summer with various reviews with the city and other entities
Spring of 2023.
this year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little quicker timeline than I thought it would be.
So they're not even going to own the property yet? And they are coming in to talk about what they're going to do?
They have pretty concrete plans.
No
Right.
pun intended, huh?
Yep. Yep.
But they're gonna take ownership in September of 2023, and they're gonna start doing work in the spring of 2023.
Gonna start plan review and permitting and
Okay,
that kind of stuff.
okay, okay.
CUPs, whatever they need.
Visiting us.
Yep,
Or not.
yep, they will be visiting you. Multiple times, I'm sure.
Okay. Okay. So there you go, Bob, you got the information hot off the press.
Oh, yeah.
So are you doing anything with regard to Ray's garden beds and dealing with the invasive species, or?
Well, the only, the, those raised beds are basically individuals are taking charge
Okay.
of those.
Okay,
And they're all, they've all been spoken for, and I guess they're waiting lists, I don't know. They did put in a couple of new ones, early last summer. As far as invasive species, those of us that have been working on that map, that you saw, have pretty much finished. We can do, just doing eyeball checks and not going into people's backyards, that sort of thing. And I talked with Michael Flaherty about the project, and he asked me to email him a copy of that map. So that's where it sits. I have heard nothing back.
okay.
The map is fairly comprehensive from what I can see,
Okay.
and there's a lot. But compared to what we have in Laconia, it's not all that bad.
Okay. Okay, well, if there's anything we can do to help you, then
Yeah, yeah.
obviously let
I
us
don't-
know.
I did suggest that there are some, particularly with Bittersweet, there are some what you might call low-hanging fruit, because I did find quite a lot of seedlings in various places. And it's a matter of just pulling up seedlings. And I suggested if the staff that are involved with working the grounds were brought up to speed to know what is a seedling of a bittersweet, then as they're going around, they could get those out, because I've noticed the seedlings, and in some cases, fairly large, not high, vines in the midst of foundation plantings around the campus that haven't been pulled up. So I don't know if that would produce anything.
Need to teach them.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. But there are some residents there that would be willing to do some of that easy work around. Whether the management would be happy with that going on, I'm not sure.
They can't see everybody at once, right?
I guess they're
Cameras.
probably overly cautious on
Subversive, I
the
get it.
area of liabilities.
Ask forgiveness.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Okay, so for the second meeting in December, we talked about volunteering at Hands Across the Table, and I reached out to them, and they had already scheduled people. And the man who schedules volunteers said, let me know when you want to come. So do we want to pick a date in February, or do we want to? So the second meeting of February, we don't have a meeting, instead we go and volunteer there? Or do we want to just scrap that idea? That's another one of Dean's.
I kind of thought that second meeting was gonna be focused more on the cohort
Right.
work.
Right,
And working
And
meetings.
and we've got a lot coming up with that.
okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good concern. So,
I agree.
okay, all right. Okay. So I don't have anything else. Does anybody else? What about,
I just want to remind you
got January 17th, we have Right to Know training, 5:30, be here or be square. It's for all the land use boards, so it'll be a full house, wear your
It's
masks.
gonna be in this room?
Okay. So it's not a Zoom meeting, it's,
No, it
it's,
is not. No,
in
in
person.
person, in person.
okay.
You'll be fingerprinted, photographed,
We got cameras.
Taped.
taped,
Take blood samples.
Yeah,
submit
And-
your ID.
What time is it again?
5:30.
Okay.
Right to know, right?
And, how long do you think it'll
Sure,
last?
she was my mom.
I don't know, I
With all the talkers, an
I-
hour.
I would say an hour and a
I would say
half.
at least an hour.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
could
I
go,
thought you were gonna tell me
could be,
two.
could be 2. I would plan on 2. And if you get out early, bonus time.
Right.
Okay. Okay. And we don't need to bring anything except, notepad.
Cupcakes.
Correct.
We'll bring the ones that you guys don't need
Yeah.
tonight.
I don't know what the format will be.
Okay.
You have to
Who's
take-
giving it?
It's New Hampshire Municipal Association is,
Do we have to take a test at the end?
Oh, boy. There's
No,
always a
no.
possibility.
I
you
mean,
spell 91A.
whenever we had any school training, we always had to
Oh,
take a
yeah?
quiz at the end.
I'm not privy to that information.
Okay.
I would bring a sharpened number 2 Ticonderoga unchewed with a full eraser.
Can I have a new one? I was told you guys got like a dozen.
We have, what year is that one?
This is 20.
Oh, yeah, we probably have at least a 22.
Yeah.
Probably have a few extra 22s.
I have a 22.
Can I swap
What's that,
out
the land use
tonight?
one?
I don't know where they are, Stacy.
Okay.
Oh, you have,
Planning and land use regulation.
you have
20
insomnia or what?
I actually
Come on.
write in these things, and I have used.
I got called out the other day for not being deep enough into the handouts. So in CBA, Mr. Bogert told me I should study harder. So,
See, I look at them before the meeting just to see if there's anything I need there.
oh, see, he had pretty little thumb things on. So I don't know.
So I did have another question. Would it be beneficial for this commission to go out to the state school property, like right after a rain, and really look at what we're looking at in preparation? Just to see how much water is out there?
Sure.
Or,
The primary area of the wetlands is in the lower corner, basically at the corner of Parade Road and Meredith Center Road.
Yeah.
That area.
Yeah.
it
With the
looks
building that's
wooded.
falling down?
It looks wooded,
Yeah, right here.
but in there is, it's not all wetlands, but there's a lot of it in there.
Yeah.
I think it's, I'm probably gonna get this wrong, but I think it's in the order of like 12, 13 acres of actual.
Really, that much right in that train there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, It's much more than anybody thought there would be. And because it, depending upon how you we want to interpret it, you could interpret that it goes directly to Opeechee, so it would be a 75-foot buffer around all of that delineated wetland.
Yeah.
It's a little dicey because it's a pipe system from going under Parade Road and then under the backyards of Anthony Drive.
Anthony
and
Drive.
Yeah.
Bennett Daylights, but one could make the argument that it's not a direct because of that, but I told them the other day, plan on a 75-foot buffer,
Right.
and if by chance it's not, then, you gain, you're good to go, but, But yeah, you could go out, I mean, it's public lands right now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we don't
Just
need
be
accompaniment.
very, the temptation is to drive in front of the cow barn and the big barn that's right out front.
I didn't even know there was a road there.
Yeah, there's a driveway into, but once you get much beyond the entrance to the cow barn, it gets very soft, and I'm guessing right now would be a mud field,
Right.
you know, so, I mean, you could hike in from Meredith Center or from Parade Road, that would probably even be quicker to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is an isolated wetland at the top of the hill. That's not that big, but it's, could be like a half to 3/4 of an acre, but
These
it's
are all
very
marked,
isolated.
right?
On the same.
Yeah, they've all been delineated.
Like
they're-
recently?
Yeah, like a year,
Last-
year and a half ago at the most.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so the flag should still be in
yeah,
good shape.
it's the orange flagging.
Yeah.
So if you go up Meredith Center Road now, and you look to the left, you can see the flags from the
Okay.
road.
It's very, it's a lot of ribbons, and I don't mean that from a flag standpoint, I mean, you know, there's a lot of ribbons of
Right.
of water. There's a few spots where there's pools and/or, you know, wetlands.
Wear your
I
tall
don't
shoes.
think
Yeah.
I don't think they discovered any vernal pools, so it's more of a marshy, you know, soil condition type situation as opposed to, standing water. I mean, obviously, spring, there would be standing water, but, you know, not all the time. But, yeah, they've been delineated, all that information that the Lakes Region Plan, Lakeshore Redevelopment Committee, there's too many lake committees anyway. All that information that they collected, including the delineation of wetlands, is available to them to use. State is providing that to them.
Okay.
Can
So
I-
do we have a copy of their wetland
It is
report at all, or?
on the website. I can send you the website.
Okay,
I might have a copy of the report, but I'm not
the
sure.
website's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Can I ask a hypothetical question about that property? What happens if they start to develop it and they find archaeological stuff? I mean, that seems to me like it would have been a good spot for campsites or villages.
So they did do, as part of another study where they were looking for contamination, they did a number of test pits all across the property where they knew there had been buildings or adjacent to buildings and things of that nature. That's how they found the garbage dump. They did not find any artifacts in any of the test pits. That doesn't mean that they aren't there. If in the course of doing site work or digging for a foundation, if all of a sudden something pops up, I mean, by law, they have to get an archaeologist on site and figure out what's going on. I mean, that's anybody,
Right.
anywhere, but, yeah.
Just seems like a likely spot to me.
I bet they were found when the state school was developed.
Could be, could be.
And plowed under and put over in the Tillings pile over yonder.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
You know, test pits are not infallible. It's like,
Right.
you know, people do test pits on property looking for ledge, and it's, okay, we're all set to go. And then as soon as they dig 5 feet on the other side of the test pit, they hit ledge, you know, so it's like, you know, it's, but, I mean, they did find the garbage dump. which will have to be dug out and removed. They did find some pesticide residue in a few places near some of the older agricultural barns. And that's pretty much what they found. There was no petrochemical waste or anything like that.
Graveyards. No graveyards.
No graveyards, no.
It's run by the state, not the Catholic school.
You are on TV.
Stay tuned, Mr. Foot, stay tuned.
Well,
Moving on.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Okay, so our next scheduled meeting is the 18th. And at that meeting, we'll work on the cohort. Okay?
What?
We're gonna work on the cohort on the
Oh,
18th.
color, okay.
We're getting,
I don't even wanna know what he thought you
he's
said.
still,
Okay, so you heard a different word than that too, okay. I wasn't sure, I didn't know what the word was, but it certainly wasn't cohort. Okay. Fantastic.
okay, so on January 18th, we're gonna work on the cohort.
Okay, very good.
We have a number of specific tasks that we have to undertake, and I think we've made good progress on it so far, and we gotta keep the ball rolling, so. That's it. So, anybody have anything else?
Were you still planning to do the non-public? Property discussion?
Oh, yeah, that's, okay, so, I would like to go into non-public session for about 15 minutes.
Okay, so the procedure is you have to take, you
Right,
make
I have
a
to-
motion to do that for reasons of consideration of the acquisition of real property
So,
and vote on that.
right, so we're gonna go into, non-public session to discuss the possibility of acquiring, property.
Yep.
So,
I'll
okay,
make a motion that we go into that non-public session.
And I'll second that.
okay,
Okay.
all in,
Follow the rules.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.